Welcome back, lovely people. Here it is, my very first Q&A. I have never done one of these before, and I'm freaking excited to get to all of your questions. Now, I definitely like doing these, and I look forward to doing more in the future. So if this one goes well, and I get enough positive responses, I'll definitely do more in the future. So yeah, look out for that. Also, if your question didn't make it into today's video, that's okay. Do not worry, I read every comment, I always do. It's just that I couldn't fit them all into one Q&A video, so I will either keep them for the next one, or you can just ask your question again in the comments down below. Now, a little bit of an update before we jump into today's Q&A. I know I promised this Q&A to come out last week, but I just couldn't make it happen. I forgot all about Valentine's Day, and I had no choice but to spend my precious money and time onto my girlfriend for Valentine's Day and the weekend, so I apologize for that, people. And of course, the Titanfall beta released this weekend. You know, that game that you definitely didn't see any gameplay of in the last few days. I've played it, enjoyed it a little bit, and I am going to make a video about it sometime this week, but do not worry, I can already tell you that this game will not often make an appearance onto my channel. One of the reasons being, I don't think it's really a game that is very entertaining to watch, personally, but I'll probably make a video about it, sharing my thoughts about the game, discussing some of the things that I like and dislike about it. But that's all for later. First of all, let me smooch you in the face before we get into the questions. Mwah! There we go. Now let's get those Q's some A's, I guess. That's bad. That's just horrible. The first question comes from the Cowman, and he tweeted at me, "What is one of the funniest experiences / stories you've ever had?" Well, the thing with me telling stories is that I can never really remember any when someone asks me to tell one. I usually remember them in a totally random conversation. Also, the ones that I do remember vividly are not very suitable for my younger audience, meaning that they're very sexually tinted and graphic, but also very hilarious. So what I will do is tell you those stories next time I live stream, which will be soon, now that I have sorted out all of my streaming issues. Just hop onto the live stream and you can ask me all about my sexual ventures. What I will tell you instead are 3 funny facts about me. Fact number 1, every time I have a date, I will choke on my glass of water, because for some reason, when I'm in the company of a pretty female, I lose the ability to drink water without drowning in it. Quite an icebreaker indeed. Fact number 2, I have an extreme fear of sharks, you know, the big ones with the bloody teeth and all. I just cannot look at a picture of them. That's how bad my fear for sharks is. Fact number 3, I am a convicted sex offender and I love cats. So I hope that answers your question to some extent. Question number 2 comes from Smeagolf, and he asks, "Where are you from, dude? UK?" Well, no, I'm not from the UK, but close, very close. I am from Belgium, the land of chocolate and other Belgian things, such as beer, butterface prostitutes, and the government that takes half of your paycheck. So come on down to Belgium and leave the very second you set foot in this country, because there is literally nothing to see here. We are like the retarded cousin of every other country that surrounds us. The next question comes from a friend, Rahul, and he asks, "Where did you get the name Dolce from?" Well, the name Dolce comes from one of my cats that I used to have when I was a kid, and I really liked the name, so I just killed him and took his identity. That's how I did it. No, but in all seriousness, I did have a cat when I was a kid named Dolce, and I thought it sounded cool. It was a cool name, so I just used that name for everything. Like, every single gamer tag I've had as a kid has been Dolce. I just added the 007 now, so people would take me more seriously. The next question comes from OG Bullet Magnet, and he asks, "What is your favorite video game? And also, what is the very first video game that you ever played?" Oof, now this is a hard one. I'd have to give first place to Final Fantasy VII. I think that game had a huge impact on me. I loved the shit out of that game. It's an RPG, it came out a while ago, I think it released in 1997, something like that. I was a kid when I played it, and I love the game. Everything about that game is amazing. The story, especially the music, but also the writing, you know, it's the very first game that was able to make me tear up, even. That's how good it is. It is just one of those games that had a huge impact on me, and really got me into video games, to be honest. Back then, video games had a lot more of a personal touch, you know, they all carried something special from their creator. And along with Final Fantasy VII, the Metal Gear Solid franchise is also one of my personal favorites. I absolutely love the shit out of that game. The creator, Hideo Kojima, was so passionate to make the experience so cinematic and story-driven, and that resulted in the storyline of Metal Gear Solid to be one of the best I've ever seen. In fact, I still think, you know, today, that it is the best scenario and writing I've ever had the pleasure to play and see in a video game. As to what the first video game that I ever played is, I can't really remember. I honestly can't. I know it is a Commodore 64 one, but I just cannot recall which one it is. I really can't. So I hope I answered that question somehow, kinda well. I don't know. Let's move on to the next question. The next question comes from the Sloth's Den, and he asks if I even lift, bruh. I do. I actually really got into it about 2 years ago, and I never really stopped doing it after that. As to what my lifts are currently, I couldn't really tell you, to be honest. I have no clue. No, I don't know. I'm just one of those guys who just doesn't really give a fuck what I lift. You know, I just YOLO it in the gym, and as long as I can bench 20 threadmills and run 2 fitty plates, I'm happy. The bonus question comes from the man himself, Mr. Story Machine, the king of all commentators, Mr. HD Pussy Destroyer 69 himself. And if you haven't checked out his channel or any of his other videos, you are seriously missing out on some of the best commentaries I've ever had the pleasure to watch. His stuff is funny, his stuff is educated, and he is just absolutely brilliant. There is no other way to say it. The man is a legend, and he deserves a lot more exposure than he is currently getting. So do me a solid, guys, go over to his channel and watch one of his videos and leave a comment telling him that I sent you. I think he'll appreciate the surprise. Anyways, his question was, have you ever been arrested for dyeing your pubes ginger in public? Now, unfortunately, I have. You know, as you probably all know by now, it is illegal where I live to dye your pubes ginger. And I've run into quite some trouble with the law because of that. But, you know, I've left that life behind me now, and I'm happy to tell you that my pubes are 100% legal now. So yeah, that's it for this Q&A, folks. I'll be sure to include more questions in the next one. This one was sort of a get to know me a little bit better kind of video, and hopefully we will be able to do these more often. So if you like this Q&A and you would love to see more, leave a like and drop your questions in the comments section down below. Thanks for watching, guys, and big thanks to everyone who submitted their questions. And those of you whose questions didn't make it into this video, it will make it into the next. Just drop your cues in the comments down below, and I will pick out your questions. Just keep submitting them, folks. Well, that's it for me, guys. I am Dolce, and I'll see you in this next video.